Hi everyone, welcome to today's live talk and reading. So I'm going to wait for a few people to join. Hi, welcome everyone. Hi Lena. Thank you for joining. Hi Limited Psychologia. Hi Alira, Winnie. Thank you for joining. Wow. Hi Elizabeth. Sorry. Thank you for joining. Lena, I'm doing this because you reminded me that talking about my own healing journey always helped you. And so I thought, okay, well then, let's try to do that again. Hi Katharina, thank you for joining. And so I thought I would do a live and talk about my current journey. Hi Monica, thank you for joining. Hi Tristan. And also pull a few cards in the end. Hi Polly. So how do I start? I'm at the end of a healing journey in the town I am in right now. Which is Heidelberg in Germany. And also I'm obviously at the conclusion of, or at least at a major turning point. I don't think we'll ever end any healing journey, I think. But I'm at a major turning point that I wouldn't have expected a few weeks ago in a 27-year journey of healing with my parents and from childhood trauma. So bear with me, this could get a bit emotional because it's a lot what's going through me right now. And it's a major healing. So I'll try to give you kind of an overview. Hi Michelle, thank you for joining. So 27 years ago, I left my hometown Leipzig to go to another town to study. Thank you, Elizabeth. And I left because I had a very toxic relationship with my mother, who was I would say today, depressed, definitely not happy, choleric, aggressive, physically violent, emotionally violent, making decisions over me, my body, and always talking me out of what I knew for myself to be right and talking my intuition dead, basically. In a way that later when I got to know my now ex-husband, every time he would ask me a question, I would always say, I don't know. Because I had completely stopped having an own opinion and having a feeling for what was right for me due to the relationship with my mother and growing up that way. And so on purpose for myself, I chose a study that was not in my hometown. I chose that on purpose without telling anyone. I just looked for a kind of study which was business and combined with languages that was not available in my hometown so that I could get away. And I did. And then I learned that going away doesn't take away the problems. But it was a major step and really important to bring a distance between us, even though it didn't take away the problems right away. It was the start of a healing journey. And I did not know that it would take that long, of course. But more to that right now. I've just learned something about healing takes time. And looking back. So one thing that I can say upfront to anyone who's going through healing processes, and I think we all are, is give yourself time. Have patience, have self-compassion and self-love. Don't judge yourself for anything you're going through. That just causes more pain. I've just learned that healing can take a long, long time. And I just had a talk with my naturopath this morning, 2 hours, who shared with me, when I said my jaw has been healing for the past 13 years and now it's in a good place. And she said, yeah, and the roots are not showing up anymore in her assessment, so they are fine. And I said, 13 years. She said, yes, healing takes that long, and these processes in the body where somebody had like major surgeries, your physical surgeon might not say it. They might say, okay, yeah, if the wound is closed, it's fine. It's not. Anything in the body, it's all connected. Every tooth has a connection to an organ. There are topics connected to it. If you remove one, you cause a whole bunch of changes and problems. My wisdom teeth surgery still causes me to start crying when I talk about it. So she just said to me this morning, we will energetically replace my wisdom teeth starting in July probably, so that this can heal. And the trauma with my parents, at some point I never thought it would be gone, because it took so long. I had to cut off the connection for years sometimes, because my mother would just grab towards me, because that codependent abuse relationship was so strong. And hi everyone, thank you for joining. Hi Nicolette, hi Rose, hi Alice, thank you for joining. And I honestly didn't believe anymore that this would ever end. And then I went through the relationship with my now ex-husband, and we went through all the topics, codependency, all the unhealthy relationship topics, and then several separations. And that for the first time was where I learned that there was also past life stuff involved, and also with my parents. So that wasn't just this life. All this time I've been healing the trauma from this life as well as from past lives, because we all know each other from past lives, and we've had unhealthy relationships in past lives as well. And so after the last separation and my husband and I choosing to get a divorce, I was guided to come to Heidelberg to be near my naturopath and also get treatments from my osteopath that I knew before, who has a practice in Heidelberg. And then I was suddenly also shown him as a twin flame relationship with all sorts of visions of family, children, whatever. And I was irritated at the beginning because I would not have thought that. And so I trusted and came here because my body was screaming for treatment. I had chronic pain when I came here. I was in constant pain. And I started getting regular treatments, but also when I look at it now, I went into a codependent relationship with him as well, which also stemmed from a past life. And that came up in 2017 in September, a memory of him and I being in a relationship in a past life, and he being burned at the stakes, and I saw it, and the shock was still in my system and came up then. And now I know that I've been processing and releasing that relationship and that shock for the past 5 years here in this life. Because the shock, and that's what I always say about shock and to clients, shock when it's still in your system prevents healing. And that shock was still in my system, and it came up in September 2017, and I thought that he had released it with a treatment. Thank you everyone for joining. Hi Petra, hi Polly, hi Regina, hi Lost in a Wicked Place. I thought he had released it with a treatment. Parts of it, yeah, but I just learned a few weeks ago that the final release just happened, and now the relationship is cut off. And I didn't know that it would end that way. We already had a cutoff 2.5 years ago, when I told him that I love him, and he cut off contact. And I now know that that love was a past life love. And the more treatment I got, I could feel that that was actually releasing. And the love that I felt got less and less and less. But I wasn't done 2.5 years ago. So that relationship continued on a telepathic basis. And I received information on a telepathic level and kept receiving visions. Someone called them illusions, and that's what I would say to anyone. Don't use that word because it just causes pain. For me, those visions, those pictures were necessary to work through topics with him on that level without having to do that on a physical level. And now, after a physical reconnection, he cut off. And for me, it's okay. And I feel I'm done. And it releases the codependency. It releases also my need to be here. And suddenly I'm being redirected to my hometown. And because all the trauma is gone, I can actually go in contact with my parents, which was the most astonishing thing to notice. I've had one meeting with them 2 years ago, which already was mind-blowing for me, because I could go there without the panic attacks I knew from the past. There was no negativity, no aggression, nothing, just me being welcomed. It was the 95th birthday of my grandmother, and I was kind of mind-blown. And then I noticed they were going back into their own negative talk after a while, and that got too much for me, and so I retreated back and held my distance. And we also worked through more stuff in the past 2 years, establishing a new kind of relationship through email, which was the only safe thing that was possible for me with my mother. And now, suddenly, I can call her on the phone, which wasn't possible for years and years and years. We've had 2 phone calls in the past few days, the first ones after 5 years. And it's like, I asked her to share about my hometown, and she went on a 1-hour enthusiastic, I would say, marketing talk about Leipzig. And I was like, wow. And not only did I get really curious when she started telling me about not just the city and all the stuff they were doing, which isn't necessarily my thing, because she's very active, outgoing, into people. That's not me. But also sharing about how the areas I grew up in have completely changed, and I wouldn't recognize them anymore. And that made me really curious. Anyone who doesn't know, I've been born in the former GDR, German Democratic Republic, under Russian oppression. So I that's a whole other story in direction of Putin. And so that was not such a nice thing, not a nice surrounding anyway. The whole country was under like a blanket of fear, oppressed. And so I do understand that my parents weren't happy, and I wasn't. And so it's really interesting to see now how this has changed. I'm really curious. And I can talk with my parents again. That's really, really interesting. And I also got very interesting information from a friend about the spiritual scenery there and spiritual people and meetings. And reconnecting with my roots. Polly is saying, why are you doing this to yourself? Go your own way. I'm going my own way. I'm getting very clear guidance to reconnect with my roots. And I just, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. It wasn't possible because of the trauma, and now I can. And that's what I do. Because also my naturopath shared with me this morning that there's a reason why we incarnate on a certain place on this planet. And I'm going to find out why. And also I'm going to find out, and that's what I'm feeling right now, when I was born there, it wasn't a nice place. 27 years ago, I left. And from what I've heard now, it's a very different place. Suddenly there are spiritual people in this town, which wasn't even thinkable 27 years ago. It's a very different place from what I've heard, from what I can feel, and I'm curious to get to know it. It's going to be a change for me, definitely, because it's much bigger than this city, but also there's areas, and I'm going to find out the ones where I feel good and where I want to stay, which is different than where my parents are living. And that's the healing as well, that I can go there, but be myself and go my own way and do my own thing. And I'm going to do that. I am not the person that left 27 years ago, Polly. And I'm not going to go back to that. It's just not possible. I'm a different person. I'm planning to live my own life there, but I plan to have my family included, which is something I've been missing for a long, long time. It just wasn't possible before because of the trauma, and now it is. And here I'm right now releasing. And also my body is releasing a lot of old grief because reconnecting is helping. Reconnecting to my roots is also going to help my teeth. There's all sorts of connections in our life, also with what happens in our physical bodies and our energy fields and emotions. So it's always important to look at it on a holistic level and not just from one certain level, which is what I always do with my naturopath, who always assesses all levels. And the more I work towards this and through this, the more my body releases. I'm in a lot of detox right now, but the more I release, the less pain and tension I have in my body. And I can really feel that releasing right now. And the interesting thing is that one of my flatmates, just a few days ago, showed exactly the behavior that I left behind with my mother 27 years ago. And I'm like, okay, I definitely need to get out of this because this is not going to be part of my life anymore. So I'm leaving behind codependency, and that's actually what I'm stepping into now, is really stepping into being my own person, having my own place, because this is what I want, my own flat. It's possible with much less pressure and especially financial pressure in the area there. And having my own place, having my own space where I can also work and live and enjoy. And also I'm looking forward to getting to know new people. Because that's what I've just been able to do with people online, doing more collaborations in the past few weeks. Because something has suddenly released and I can be open. And I'm suddenly stable within myself and getting more stable in the coming month as I'm reconnecting to my roots. And by having more stability in myself, I can also open up to others and connect to new people. And that's something that I've been missing for a long time as well. It wasn't meant to be here. My energy was focused on a healing process here in the past 5 years that took a lot of energy. And so I'm now very looking forward to going there and checking out the area. I will be there in June, mid-June, for a week and see what happens. So that's what's going on here. I know for many of my clients right now, there's similar huge processes. So hang in there, take care of yourself, get the help that you need and the support that you need. I'm getting a lot of that right now, sometimes even without asking. And don't judge anything, give yourself time. If you don't understand what you're going through right now, know that there will be a point where you will understand it, but don't force it. It's going to have, sometimes you have to go through the whole process to understand it at the end, after you're done. Okay, now let's do a few cards for this week. And see what the angels want us to know. What do the angels want us to know? Sanctity, through offering even the most mundane problem, become a sacrament. That is something that I do right now on a consistent basis. So offering means you give whatever is your problem, your issue, your question to the divine. I give this to you. Please show me the right actions. If there's nothing I can do right now, let me be okay with it and make clear what I need to learn. Or I give this to you. Please bring what's most healing and necessary. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I always say, I give this. Show me whether you want me to go there. Show me what you want me to do. Really clearly give me physical signs that I cannot misunderstand. And all I'm getting is people contacting me about Leipzig. A cheap train ticket, stuff like that. My landlord here taking the load of a flatmate that's not paying her rent off of me by allowing me to just pay my part. And the other part I'm getting, but not the part I'm not getting. So I'm getting all the support right now, and this is offering. Take whatever problem you have right now, whatever bothers you, emotions, questions, whatever, take it, give it to the divine. I give this to you. Show me what you want me to do. Make it clear. Give me clear signs and miracles so that your head, your ego gets out of the way. Because the ego is asking why. Why is not a valid question. The question is, how do you handle this? Why? The answer is, we are going through these to grow. And that's why we are here. We are incarnated because we want to learn. We are growing. We are making experiences. That's why we are going through those experiences. Guidance, yes, that's the same thing. When you make divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. What I've gotten back is my trust in my guidance. No matter what, even if I don't understand it, I trust it and I follow it. Ask your angels, archangels, ascended masters, your guardian angels for guidance. Work with the divine, work with God. It's training, and often we've been trained out of it. Reconnect, trust it, learn the communication, get out of your head and ask for guidance, ask for clear signs, and then follow them. Ooh, chanting. So, what else? Chanting is coming up. Chanting is coming up. Raphael. Archangel Raphael. Sympathy. Let's see. Chanting. So, Raphael, the angel of healing, the archangel of healing, helping us in any healing process, working with any person who is a healer. So you can call on Archangel Raphael for yourself, you can call on Archangel Raphael for anyone who needs help with healing. And if you are a healer, you can call on him to work with you as well. And now we're going to chant Ho through the sacral chakra to receive his energy. And you look at that sigil while we do that. And one more from the angel symbols. Those are the ones that I work with in healing sessions. And another reason for me going through trauma healing and trauma is that I can now help others, because my experience comes from my own healing process. Angel for the creative word. I learn to express my feelings. So whatever is coming right now to you, through you, talk it through with someone, write it down. Morning pages are a great thing to do. You don't have to do them in the morning. You can do that at any time. Writing letters to God, writing letters to people that you could never talk to about certain things. If you wanted to say something to someone and you couldn't, just write it down as a letter. You don't send the letter, you burn it in the end, but you have said it, because anything that's in you has never been said is stuck energy and blocks the flow of energy, and it blocks new things, new experiences coming in. It's important to express what's in you. It's important to express emotions, get it out. You can also do that by walking, processing anything that's in your body. I do a lot of walking right now. Find ways to express yourself. Painting, singing, dancing. Doesn't matter. It's important to express your emotions and what you're feeling, and even what you want to say or you can't say. At least write it down so that it gets out and not stuck in your system. So those are the messages for this week, as well as me sharing about my current journey. I'm going to post this so that you can re-watch it if you've just joined now. Hi, Anna Chiara. So I'm going to post it and you can watch it. And anyone who wants to work with me in healing sessions for trauma healing, for healing relationships, for healing emotions or physical issues, you find all information on my website. The link is in my bio, and also Reiki attunements. I do. Everything is on my website. You can also message me. Thank you everyone for joining, and see you next time. Bye.